What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Engineers That Filters podcast, episode 126. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson. Tonight, I'm drinking the same thing I drank last week, which is the left-hand nitro milk stout, which I just poured into my glass. Got that some nice ASMR for you audio listeners. And I think we cleared up last week how to correctly pour this after debating on it for a minute. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to get more beer because I haven't been drinking that much, so we got more of this, and I'm not sad about it because this shit's tasty.
I'm Joseph, and I'm also drinking the same thing I had last week, which is Bell's Tropical Oberon. It's still pretty good.
It was overpriced.
I'm Gabe. I don't know what I was drinking last week. I already forgot. But I have Miller High Life in a bottle. Very summery.
Very fancy.
It's just been hot here. Way too fucking hot. So
It has been
getting
obnoxiously hot.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like 100?
It will be this weekend, or at least it was. I don't know what it is now, but high 80s, low 90s with humidity. So,
Yep.
Summer beers.
Love to see it.
And I am Dayton, and I'm drinking Beard Organized Playdate.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Like
cool.
It's an IPA with lime juice, lime zest, and pineapple.
Oh, how's that?
It's pretty good. I like it. It's easy to drink, and it's
Beard.
like 8%.
Beard's got some good beer.
There you go.
I was there last night with happy hour with some of my coworkers. I had 2 of their beers, and I was fucking on my ass.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't eat lunch, and I went directly after work, so it was like a completely pumped stomach,
Right.
essentially. So, but dude, I was like 2 beers in, and I was there for 3 hours, and at the end of it, I was like, dude, I'm still drunk.
Like, I cannot drive right now.
That's awesome.
Do they require all their staff to have or wear beards?
No, that would be funny though.
Like, they have to find a fake beard if they don't have one.
Someone comes in shaved the next day. Get the fuck out of here.
You're fired.
You're
That
gone.
beard was a condition of your hiring. All right, well, welcome back to the podcast, everyone. As always, you can find our show on Mondays on YouTube, as well as podcast services. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at ewfpodcast, and please follow us on Twitch at ewf_podcast, where we're live right now recording, and we also go live on Monday nights, both at 8 p.m. Eastern, to play some games. Last week, Dayton, Gub, and Joseph plays a Rocket League. I tuned in for a little bit. It seemed like I was getting your shit kicked.
Yes.
Yeah. It didn't. I think we won 2 games, maybe
not-
3.
Not very many.
Not a
That's
lot.
for sure.
We were all playing like ass, to be honest.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
it
was
happens.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what we play next, but come in and check.
Yeah. If you like watching train wrecks, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good time.
You know what they say about train wrecks? You can't look away.
Yeah, I guess so.
There we go. Let's get into our weekly update anecdote section of the podcast. Dayton, I'm saving you for last. I think you're going to be the longest.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Joseph first.
Nothing too crazy. Ooh, I got a new pair of trail runners and hiking or trekking poles for Dayton and my adventure into Isle Royal. That was pretty exciting. It took me a while to figure out which ones I liked. I ended up going to REI because I wasn't sure if I wanted actual trail runners or more of a hiking shoe style.
Right.
I just wanted to try on as much as I could. And it came down to 2 very identical shoes, which were the Ultra Lone Peak 5s and the Topo Athletic Mountain Racer 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a narrow shoe with a wide foot box so that your toes have room to breathe, but it's tight on the midsole and your heel, so your foot stays locked in really well.
Mhm.
And then they both have a very minimal cushion, which means they're lighter and they've got pretty.
They're zero drop shoes. So Most
Yes. Well,
modern
no,
running.
the topos were a 5 millimeter, so they weren't no drop, but the
Oh
ultras
yeah,
are
the
no drop.
ultras. Yeah, the ultras are zero drop.
Hmm.
So which
Now
one
I
That
have
did
was
you
to
part
get?
ask,
of like whether I want more so.
did you consider cross-country spikes? Because I'm telling
I
those can get
did,
you moving.
and I immediately threw that out of my head.
I said
Because
that jokingly because they hurt really fucking bad.
yeah,
for
they're
for
super
extended periods
uncomfortable,
of time. Yeah.
and
Did you wear them? Sorry, in cross country, you know, when you were in high school, did you wear them without socks?
no, I wore socks with them.
I don't. I think I wore socks too, but some people wore them without socks just for
Hmm.
whatever reason, and their feet were fucked up by the end of races, like
Oh,
bleeding
they
and
were.
ulcers and shit.
I know I had some of my friends that ran without socks, and yeah, I remember one of my friends had a pair of track spikes that he wore for cross country,
Fucking
and to
idiot.
save weight, they had a hole in the heel because like right, if you think about it, like it grips over the top of your heel, like by your Achilles, and then like underneath that, it's like there's cushion usually, but not much
Right.
there
Yeah.
for support. So they just cut out that fabric to save weight. So he'd have a circle of dirt on his fucking heel after the
Jesus
race.
Christ. Did the cross
'Cause
country spikes even fit in the holes? Because track spikes you use like
he just wore track
that's
spikes.
what's even the point. Cross country spikes you use like an inch long babies. Like you're
Yeah,
fucking
but
getting
it's
it.
better than nothing.
I
I
know.
don't.
It's just
Not the point.
anyway.
So I'm pretty excited for that, and then I'm gonna tomorrow afternoon there's some hiking trails I'm gonna hit up and just kind of walk through them and test out the shoes, which I did
Wait.
end up going with the Ultras.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I got them sitting behind me, but can't
this
reach
this
them
is
right
my
now.
this is my unsolicited advice,
Yeah.
based on experience that I have with those, and also with my dad, and also with Justin. Uh, take a lot of time wearing those shoes and hiking with them, because zero drop
Mm-hmm.
tends to fuck with people, with like their muscles, because most shoes have like a
Interesting.
drop. So like by going
Yeah,
zero
yeah, yeah.
drop, your gait kind of changes, and it changes like
Right,
which
right.
muscles are activated. So
Say it's
definitely
more like
take a
a
lot of time.
barefoot type walking, a barefoot gait. So yeah,
Right.
no, I that's kind of my plan is to walk around in them quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely do that. End of my
And
unsolicited advice.
no, I appreciate that for sure. And then also I took some time this week and I watched season one of One Punch Man.
Ooh.
Because I know
Dude,
Jacob's
okay.
been talking about it for trying to convince me for a while, and I was like, you know what?
Joseph,
I'll watch the first episode.
intro is such a banger.
Immediately.
The
Dude, the
intro is
intro
so
song is
fucking good.
fantastic. I love it.
Oh,
I
a
would just
punch.
I think I skipped it one time and that was because I was crunched for time for something. But it's like other than that, I you had to listen to it. It's so fucking great.
I have to ask you, and we're getting to anime talk for a second here. As someone who's watched One Punch Man and My Hero Academia, that have
Hmm.
kind of similar systems to how heroes get paid, we'll
Yeah.
say, which one do you think is better to watch first? Because I watched One Punch Man first. I still thought it was funny, but I wonder if watching it after My Hero, like the parody is even more there and it's funnier.
Oh, it definitely is. I think you should watch My Hero first because for like I don't know people that don't know, One Punch Man is like a parody of an anime action
Like
hero kind
superhero
of.
society thing. Yeah.
And so like obviously it's not like over the I mean it can be over the top, but like there's parts where like a character will go into a monologue and the main character will be like, "Shut up, just give me the 20 words or less," is what he always says. Like I don't care for your life story here, which is like a classic anime trope and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And yeah, they riff on like it's because it's similar, I would say,
Yeah.
to how My Hero does it. And so they kind of like take it and make it more of a like a game. Kind of like it's almost similar to The Boys in a way, how it's
Yeah.
like
There's like the
the
top ranking
there's the top ranking and
system. Yeah.
also there's like the public appeal is a big part of it,
Right, right.
which the boys kind of play up on. They take it a different route in that, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great time. So I was asking for Dayton because Dayton hasn't watched either, but they're both on his list. So I think, yeah, Dayton,
Correct.
watch My Hero first and then watch Punch Man, and you'll
Yeah.
probably get more out
But
of it.
One Punch Man is so good.
It's so fucking funny.
I was laughing out loud like throughout most of it. Like it's so good. I think it was really well done.
One of my favorite moments, not to spoil, is when you find out how he got so strong.
Hmm.
It's hilarious, but anyway,
Everyone's
it's a great
everyone's
show.
like, "You're shitting me, right?"
It's a joke. Gabe, what happened in your life this week?
Oh God, nothing exciting, honestly. I've I don't even want to really talk so much about work right now.
Fair enough. Fair
It's
enough.
been really rough, and I've been absolutely exhausted. Like, uh, I went to the gym Tuesday. I had to skip Monday because I was literally like falling asleep on the drive back. And the lady we've talked about before, who I
Mhm.
didn't know her name, um, could tell. She was like, "Are you okay?" Like, she's like, "You've been looking pretty rough the last couple of days. Like, it's been rough." So just
I mean, Gabe, here's, some would say take a break. Others would say get some pre-workout in you and fucking send it. You know what I mean? Get that caffeine
yeah,
moving.
I think going to the gym is more like mentally healthy. Like it helps me
Yeah.
go. It just like forcing myself when you're super tired is like really hard for me to do. But
Oh, yeah.
I still go and I definitely feel way better afterwards. But just a lot of bullshit to deal with at work. And
Yeah. I feel you.
everyone's had weeks like that, so
Plus,
pushing
you
through.
don't have your buddy to gripe to
Yeah,
because
Tim's gone.
Tim's out of town for the week.
Ah,
Where is he?
He's also well, he's doing a work trip in Iowa. Different
Oh, they
customer.
sent they sent him off.
Yeah.
They're shipping us
Yeah,
off left and
they
right.
kind of like they were like, "Oh, do you want to go?" And I was like 2 weeks off my heels of like Kentucky. And I was like, "No."
I think I heard Tim's interested.
Yeah, I
Just
think
throw him under the
he could
bus.
look somewhere else. And I was like, "Whatever, I'll do it."
Feel you. I got a quick one. It's not really much of a. It's more of just like a life update. Ladies, I'm off the market. I deleted my dating apps because I was having no luck, and I can't do it anymore. All right, I gotta take a break. Uh, it's rough out here, Joseph.
Oh
Um,
man.
so ladies, if you were interested, you gotta wait till next mating season when I come out of my cave again.
Oh,
Uh,
gross.
but
Yikes.
I'm
Well,
closing
hold
shop
on.
for
It
now.
just means that they can't contact you on dating apps. They gotta either get your number, possibly message through Instagram
I have
through
my DMs.
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, no, you're
So
not wrong.
Or
Yeah.
there's
or
other
it
ways.
just happens all natural. Jacob's just walking to his car and he bumps into this fine honey.
He's gonna be in the
And
hallway
Jacob
and someone's gonna
having the
drop her
confidence to
books and
say
he's gonna
something
help
to her.
her
Yeah.
pick up the books and
Oh, you guys
they're gonna
all know
lock
me to know none of this
eyes.
shit would actually happen. But
Well,
yeah,
isn't it in Letterkenny they say something along the lines of like you only
you
find
find
love when you're not looking or something?
yeah, you find love when you're not looking for it. So I'm done. I'm done looking for a minute because it's fucking rough. But
It's
anyway,
like it is oddly stressful. At least I don't know. It's a lot of work.
I'm just not good at it. I'm not good at dating apps. It's not
Yeah.
my forte. I was I was at the dentist today. It was my cleaning for the every 6 months. And this is the second time I've been to this place because, since I moved here, I had to get a new person. My hygienist is the best. She's great. And we were catching up, and she's like, "Oh, you dating anybody?" I'm like, no, no, I am not. And we're talking about
Just
dating apps a
start
little
crying.
bit. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't. It's not for me. It's not my personality. Suits my personality type. But I'm trying. This is a better effort than I've done in the past. I actually gave it the college try, I think. Whereas in the past, like when I was with Joseph, you might remember me going on it for like 2 weeks, and I just get super pissed and just like gave it kind of immediately.
Mhm.
I gave it a solid like 5 weeks. But it's fine. Whatever. We'll move on and we'll get there eventually. But Dayton, tell me your horrific story that you hinted at before the podcast started.
Yeah, so I was away last week, as you guys know, and I actually did listen to the entire podcast episode of last week.
Ooh,
Um,
nice.
You
Had a
you
dig at me.
you fucking absolute rats made the fucking Instagram picture me
Dude, I
holding
laughed
grilled
so
cheeses
hard at that.
and
Did you
that
send
was
Dayton the
it
other
was
one I made too?
No, I did. I did.
it was literally like a 2 minute long conversation. You absolute fucking rats. Go fucking crawl back into the walls. That's what I gotta say to you.
Oh my
Worth
god.
it.
But
I
anyway,
gotta ask, how's my editing job on the audio?
oh, I thought it was good. It was a little quiet, but I'm not sure if that's like, I'm not sure if that's something like that we just do like always. But I don't know. That's something that I have to sort
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, we
Um,
can figure it out later.
But anyway, so the reason why I was gone, right, is because I was on a work trip. I was going to take a class actually, that was put on by one of our vendors for forging, metal forging basically. And that was a cool class and all. But what I want to talk about here is my experience with flying. Okay, so I'm not sure if I've ever talked about it in the podcast before, but I always choose to fly Southwest. I'm a huge fan of Southwest. Some might call me a Southwest stan. I just think
slut.
Southwest slut. Ooh, I like that one even better. But yeah, I just freaking love Southwest. One, because like their fares are like super super like easy to understand. There's no like business really. There's no like first class. And you get 2 free checked bags with it. It's always like one of like the cheapest options for me. And I feel like everybody who flies Southwest is pretty like chill about literally everything. Like you don't have like the United Airlines person like getting punched, like the flight attendant getting punched. But actually, wasn't there an unruly person on Southwest that got drunk? Or am I thinking
think
of
so.
something? Okay,
Well, I
I
saw
think
that
they had
person
a-
had to get taped up and like tape over their mouth. I don't
that
know
was
what
an
that was on.
American.
I don't think
That
it
was an American.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
fucking
They got
insane.
taped to the chair.
Looks like they were in a hostage crisis.
Yeah, but I would say overall the people on Southwest are a caliber above the common rabble, the peons that fly on American and all that shit.
Yeah, American
And
does suck. I will say that.
it does, and actually, you know what? That is actually the airline that I had to fly through. And it was my first time flying American in a long ass time. And I gotta say, I was in for a fucking culture shock when I stepped on that plane, okay? So I first off, when I was booking the tickets through work, it really took me aback because it was like, oh, please select your seat. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm used to Southwest. I'm used to the utter chaos when I get on board and I just find a seat and it's the wild, wild west. And I really
You understand
like
that Southwest is the only airline that does that, right?
And I
That's
like
Yeah.
literally only Southwest.
Delta, you pick your seat. I'm
I
a big
like it.
Delta boy.
I like
That's
it,
how
dude.
they keep prices down too. Apparently.
It's not like this is not a dig at Southwest. It's not like the communist airline where it's like everybody's the same. It's a fucking, it's
a
a mosh
madhouse.
pit, madhouse. Yeah.
Hey,
It's
you
like
know
welcome
what?
to the crew. You are all the crew.
But anyway,
Anyway.
so I flew American and I was like, well, fuck that. Like one, I don't think I can pick my seat because I can't, like I'm not allowed to like pay more like past the ticket for it. So I was like, whatever, you know what? I'm just going to wait and then I'm just going to get to the gate and have them assign me a seat because I know that there's going to be good seats that people don't want to pay for at the gate.
Okay.
So like I was just like, yeah, I'll just do
Bold
that.
strategy, Cotton.
And
Let's see
it's
if it pays off.
okay. So like what? Okay, so you get up there and it's like you've bought a ticket, you're guaranteed a spot, right? So I'm just like, what's the worst they can do? Stick me in a shitty seat? I don't give a fuck. It's a 2.5 hour flight to Chicago. So I was willing to take my chances. Okay. So I was like, all right, perfect. Get to the gate and they assign me. It's not an emergency exit row, but it still had extra room because it was like bordering on the what's it called? The first class business side
Oh,
of it.
okay.
So I was like, sick, dude. This is an amazing seat. And I was in like one of like the early boarding groups or whatever. So I get on, get to my seat, and it's like 4C or something like that, right? The aisle seat. And I was like, oh, okay, like I'll just sit in the window seat so then the person doesn't have to like climb over me to get in, or I don't have to get up. So then I sit down there. And
Hold on.
I'm
Was C the window seat or was C the aisle seat?
C is the aisle seat. I sat down in the window seat trying to be nice to this person, okay?
Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
Hang on a second, dude. I got a fucking rant, okay? I got a fucking rant, and I have a captive audience here, you son of a bitch. So I sit down in the window seat, right? And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, who gives a fuck what seat you're in? It's only like 2 hour flight, 2.5 hour flight, and sit down there, and this woman, walks up, and at this point I have like my headphones in. I'm ready to just like essentially just zonk out, play some Pokemon on the flight over, and I can see her out of the corner of my eye, and I actually tagged a a name for it. The paper boarding passes. I'm calling them boomer boarding passes because who the fuck has printed out boarding passes
paper,
anymore?
yeah.
So she's fucking like looking down at her freaking boomer boarding
She's
pass,
doing this shit though.
looking up there, looking at me, and I'm just like, you got something to
Something's not
say to
adding
me?
up.
You got something to say to me? Freaking say it to me. It's like, like she like leans down, and so I do the courteous thing, and I take my headphone out. I'm just like, hey, and she's like, what seat are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 4C. I'm right there. And then she's like, oh, okay. I'm in 4D, and I'm like, okay. And I just let it just sit there because I'm like I understand that I am technically in the wrong here because
You're
she
in the wrong.
You
You are
are
very
in the
much in
wrong.
the wrong there.
okay
Oh.
except I think that it's absolutely fucking stupid. I think that it's stupid, okay? And I am willing, I think who was it? Was it Malcolm X who said
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
I think it was Malcolm X who said when the law is unjust, it is your duty to, I don't know, something along those lines. I'm just being facetious here. But what I'm getting at is, so she's like, oh, yeah, I'm in that seat. And then I'm just like, okay, just let the fucking awkwardness just fucking hang there cuz I don't give a fuck. And
Oh my god.
and she's like, oh, can you move? And I'm like, yeah, sure, like I'll fucking move. Like I know that you're in the right in this case. And then and she's like, oh yeah, I just want to sleep for this entire flight. And I'm just like, okay, like I don't give a fuck. You don't need to give me any excuses. Just fucking sit down and shut up. I don't want to talk to you. So then she like sits down, okay, and she doesn't sleep for the entire flight. Instead, she just sits there with her legs. She just keeps on like fucking just like kicking her legs forward and like kicking like our backpacks and shit that are like in the in the under the seat in front of us. She keeps on fucking like touching my backpack, and I'm just like, damn, bitch, you're really getting on my nerves here.
Like
And
an
then,
unconscious thing, like a
no,
nervous
dude,
tick kind of a thing.
no, dude, she was freaking stone cold the entire time. I think she was just doing it as a stretch, but just like, stop fucking touching my shit. Like, I understand.
Where you have to paint this picture for me. Where are your backpacks?
Were your bags still in
They're-
4D or whatever?
Could you not
they're
move your
they're in
bag
the
over with you?
they're in the middle, so there's no divider, right? So we just kind of shoved our bags in there. And my backpack,
Oh.
because just pretty big, because I had 4 days worth of clothes, a hard hat, and a whole bunch of other shit in it. But-
Okay.
So
So it's like in the middle, and she's like, okay, I think I got it.
yeah, and she's like barely brushing it, and it's like, I know that that's not a big deal, but it's like, just don't touch my fucking shit, lady. Oh, and then anyway, she like keeps on freaking like bumping into me. Like, I know that it's perfectly normal to bump into people, but at this point, I'm just like, lady, like I've had enough of you. Like, I might be the person who's unruly on this American Airlines if you keep up with this bullshit. Because like she keeps on
Sorry,
like,
I need to.
Is it
Back
a
up for a second.
two-seater?
Yeah,
it's a
I was
two-seater.
gonna ask that question.
It's a
Two-seater.
three-seater.
I thought that was
Okay,
three.
that's
Yeah.
where. Okay, now we're on the same page.
yeah,
That
two-seater,
makes-
sorry.
Okay, now that makes sense. Okay.
Two-seater. Yeah. So she like keeps on like bumping into me. She keeps on like elbowing me and like bumping her like knee into me and shit like that. And I'm already like leaning into the aisle because I'm just like, I don't want to touch anybody. Period. So just like leave me the fuck alone. So that's my rant on paid seats, okay? I think that it is just it just really grinds my gears because it's just, why? Just I don't have any fucking words for it. Like, it's just like a primal hatred of it.
Here's what I'll say. As you already stated, you're in the wrong here. You should have been in your assigned seat from the get-go. All right, everyone knows that because even if you like Southwest better, you're playing by Americans' rules now, man. You got to play by the rules. One thing I always talk about on this podcast is I hate inconveniencing other people. I talked about when you're at the grocery store.
I was trying to be
And you're trying
convenient
to
to
grab-
this person.
But
No, you
but
are being
Dayton-
inconvenient because you're forcing conversation with them by being in their seat. You
I
know they're
was
not gonna just like just take it.
so
Also, you don't know who this person is. They may have paid extra to get a window seat at that
Exactly.
spot. So then they're gonna want a window seat whether you think you're
okay.
being courteous or not.
Okay.
Like,
I recognize
and
I
then you're just
recognize that.
making like a big like, oh, I'm sorry, I was trying to be helpful. Sorry for being nice. Like,
No,
you know,
I didn't try and play that card. I said, "Okay." I got up and that was
yeah,
that. This is all internal monologue of
yeah,
hatred of the system, okay? I
yeah,
think I'm not hating the player, okay? I'm hating the fucking game. I'm hating the game to the fucking full extent, okay?
And I'm
It
with
is
you on that. The game sucks. I'm just saying you affected another player in your hatred of the game, and that I cannot abide. You know what I mean? Because
right,
like
right.
there is a when you do that, there is a 85% chance you're forcing a conversation. There's a 50% chance where it's gonna be like, oh, okay, and sit down. 85% of the time they're gonna be like, hey, you're in my seat. You know, and that's just like
well,
I'm
I
not trying
feel
to have that
like
conversation.
either way, they're not gonna know whether you
That
have
seat's taken
that
or not.
seat or if you're just some
Yeah.
fucking idiot kid who, and
Your
I
drunk
say
seat,
kid,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Anyway,
because
but
then like, oh, I have this seat. Is it fine if I just sit here so that I didn't have to get up? Is that okay? You know,
yeah,
I
that all
think
being
like,
said, like yeah, the game sucks. Flying fucking sucks.
yes,
Like it's just the amount of people crammed to a short space is just not gonna be good.
All right, I got more to say on this, okay? So that was the end of that flight, okay? On
okay,
my way back, okay? I got stuck into, another fucking random ass seat. And I didn't get my seat at the like when I like checked in, right? Instead it was like, "Oh yeah, here, just go see the gate attendant to get your seat." And I'm just like, "What the fuck? Like why do I need to do that?" Like just give me like it wouldn't let me check in online. It wouldn't let me like get a seat when I checked in. And so I had to go up to like the front desk, talk to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to go talk to the gate agent." So I just like took up a whole bunch of time just for a fucking seat. Like I don't care what my seat assignment is. Just seat assignments, dude. It just causes more fucking trouble. And on top of that, why do people like? There's boarding groups, right? The boarding groups are based off of when you check in. Okay, so it is so inefficient. Have all the people who are in the window seats board first, right?
Yeah.
And and then
One
go to
airline
your
does
aisle
that. I
seats.
can't remember which one. I think maybe Alaska does that. There's a couple airlines that do that, but most of them, yeah, it makes no fucking sense. Like, yeah, it should
you
be
should
Yeah,
windows,
you
middles,
should
aisles.
well, you should also board back to front.
Also
Yeah.
that, yeah.
yeah, but
You
okay,
know,
but that's another gripe for another day. Okay, so I get
Yeah.
my seat ticket, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm going, and I'm just gonna sit down in my seat, put my headphones in, play some Pokemon, and and this time I was in an aisle seat, and it was a twofer. So there was an aisle seat and a window seat, and this lady comes up, and she has me get up and sit in. She sits in the seat next to me, and I noticed that this guy who was hanging out with her at the gate, who I assume is like her boyfriend or husband or something or another, is like walking up, and they're just like, oh, like casually like asking like what seat they were in or whatever, and like he happened to be in the seat like directly in front of me. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll just move, because it makes literally no impact. I don't give a fuck what seat I'm in. Seats don't fucking matter. They could cram us into the cargo hold and I won't give a fuck. So I move, right? No biggie there. And while I'm sitting there in my new seat, I noticed to my right. So my coworker is like adjacent to me, and like in like the next aisle over. And
It's
I
across the
see
aisle. What you're saying?
across the aisle except one ahead. So
Okay, so one row up across the aisle.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Diagonal.
yeah. And I noticed this dude out of the corner of my eye, about like an aisle back, and he's got his fucking boomer boarding pass out, and he's like looking, and he's looking up at the numbers, and then he's like tapping, he like taps on like somebody's shoulder, and he's like, hey, what seat are you guys supposed to be in? And then this person's like, well, I was supposed to be in that seat, but somebody sat in that seat. And then he's like, huh. Then he looks at his boarding pass again, looks at the numbers or the letters, and he's like, taps on that person's shoulder. And he's like, hey, what seat are you guys supposed to be in? This person's like, well, I was supposed to be in that seat over there, but somebody
Oh,
was in it.
Ugh.
So then he goes and he looks back at his boarding pass, looks up at the numbers, and then taps this other person on the shoulder. And he's like, hey, what seat are you guys supposed to be in? And then they were like, well, I was supposed to be in that seat over there, but this person was in my seat. And then he's like, huh, okay. Goes and taps them on the shoulder.
Oh my god.
And he's like,
What
hey,
is this
How many
end?
times are you gonna say this?
dude, this literally happened. This literally happened. He went fucking 4 layers deep before he was like, huh, whatever. I guess I'll just sit down in this empty seat. And it's just, it caused, like, seat assignments caused so many fucking issues.
But also, if people would just pick their assigned seat, there would
Yeah,
have
if
been
you
zero
just sit in
problems.
their seat, there'd be no problems.
I recognize that, except there were 4 people prior to this person that said, oh,
I blame all
Huh.
those people, dude, because they didn't
Yeah.
have the conversation. They should have said. I mean, it's uncomfortable. But you got to be like, hey, you're in my seat. Otherwise, you get 4 deep, and then somebody's fucked at the end of it. You know?
I just don't think that the seat assignments shouldn't even be there in the first place. Who the fuck cares?
You're saying that from a solo flyer though. Like you're
Yeah.
traveling alone. So yeah, it doesn't matter. A seat's a seat. But
Except-
like when I traveled with my family, like especially with young kids, yeah, my parents want to sit next. Like when I was little and we flew, we wanted to sit next to them, so I didn't like fucking terrorize some random ass
Right.
stranger.
And mom's got the
Yes.
snacks, Joseph. You know she's
Also,
got the
mom's
snacks.
got the snacks.
Except
Also, no, that's not true. We just put all the snacks in our backpacks so that we didn't have to deal with them. No.
and on Southwest you can get priority boarding, and like
That is
families like that with young kids board first anyway. So on Southwest they're gonna sit next to each other anyway, and they can sit next to whoever fucking Joe Schmo they want to.
I mean, yeah, it's a nightmare. We all know it's a nightmare. I'm just saying, if you're playing the game, even if you hate the game, you gotta play the game. All right. So if you get an assigned seat, you gotta be in your fucking assigned seat, and it sucks, but that's the way the world works. And you can do your best by flying Southwest as much as possible, but they don't fly everywhere.
What
Unfortunately,
I'm saying is that in this case of 4, this guy asking 4 different people which seat they were in. Okay,
Like at that point,
were-
why even?
there
You're in
were
a seat.
yeah.
Who cares?
there were 4 people prior to him that said, "Oh, this person's in my seat. I don't care. I guess I'll just sit next to the seat that I was supposed to have." They didn't make a whole big hubbub about it. Okay,
But
4
they
people
should've.
prior to him. Why should they have? It doesn't matter to them.
because then we get 6 people deep, and then there's the person who actually does care, and then they try to unravel the entire mystery, and then it becomes a whole fucking thing. If you just cut it off at the snake's head, you wouldn't have this whole issue.
This is something
Those
that
people
that
are
we're
cowards.
gonna.
They're cowards for not having the conversation.
I
Or the
don't-
flight attendant should have gotten involved and been like, all right, the flight attendant should take control. Like, all right, you're going there, and we're just fucking, and they just deal with it, Because then you get a Lord of the Flies if it's just the people dealing with it, and then it gets, egos get involved, and it's a whole fucking thing.
dude.
I don't think
just
assigned seats are that big of a deal, personally. I mean, I haven't had an issue where there's been like that level of like 4 people, but I've definitely had like one person is like, "Hey, this is my spot. You gotta move," and that's usually been the end of it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's just like I feel like they cause more problems than they ever solve. Okay, because I can understand
Who
it on
causes the
flights.
problem? The person who went against what they were supposed to do, or the person who tried to fix it? Like that's the real issue.
I'm not arguing that point. That point is it's pretty cut and dry. Okay, the person who has that ticket is in the right with this fucking rule of the law. But I think that this rule of the law is just bullshit.
So now I have to ask you, Dayton, how do you feel about movie theaters moving to the assigned seat system?
I
That's been a
personally
new
think that it's
development in the past.
I think that
10
it's
years,
dumb.
yes.
I think that it's dumb because if you care enough about it, okay, if you're like, man, I really want to get this good seat, you should just fucking wait in line, like, or wait in
But
line,
it-
get there
it's
early,
more-
like.
I guess it's more. I think it was more of a response to people being there late, which again, arguably their fault. But then there's like a party of three, and there's the three seats are like back corner, front row, and they can't all sit together. So,
That's their fucking fault for not showing up early. It's the same thing with like the whole boarding situation. It's like if you want to get a good seat on Southwest, you show up early or you check in early or you pay for priority boarding. Like it's 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 just bullshit because like it just fucks the entire system up.
I don't know. At the same time, if everyone follows the rules, then there's no problem. But
Right,
the question is,
right,
do people follow the rules?
right. And it just causes more issues than it ever solves. And the only reason the system is in place, I would argue, at least in recent years, is because these companies are fucking greedy. They're like,
Yeah.
this person will pay 50 extra bucks to choose their seat, especially at like an exit row. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna take that 50 bucks times 100 seats in the plane or whatever it is, and pocket the extra money. And people just are, I just feel like they're deluded with it more than anything else, and I think that's what irritates me.
I don't know.
And
I'm
also
not
and also
too. I
can
mean, it's annoying, but like, I don't know. I'll go back to the movie theater thing. I like it being bigger seat because if I'm on it early and I get my ticket early, then I'm guaranteed getting the best seats in the house, that little middle high row, and you get the best spot. And I guaranteed got that because I was on the tickets fast. You know what I mean? And that's like the equivalent of getting there early, but instead of getting there early, it's like I'm getting on the tickets early. But I mean, it also comes down to greed of like, yeah, they can charge for so they will. But
right.
that's like no company's gonna stop doing that.
But I don't think movie theaters have it where like you pay extra to get a seat assigned, other than like in the
There's the
sense you go
courtesy fee that you pay when you buy stuff online,
there's
where they're like,
that, but you could still go into a movie theater 2 days
day
early
of,
and be like,
yeah,
hey, I want to buy a ticket for this day at this time for
yeah,
this showing. I
yeah,
mean, you can still do that, but it's not like if you don't pay it, you just get whatever seat too.
yeah. But at the end of the day, same with the airlines. You're paying for convenience, and people pay for that, so they're not going to stop offering it.
I
Yeah.
I just the it's like I can understand it on long flights. Okay? Like long haul flights. Like yeah, like maybe this like this difference of me sitting in this one seat versus this seat will make my satisfaction on this long flight 5% better or whatever. On a short flight, it's like who the fuck cares? Like just nut
But
up.
do you
You're
think it could be an anxiety thing too, where like I need to know where I'm gonna be sitting, so that's one less thing I have to think about,
That's,
you
that's
know?
yeah, that's how I think about
that's
it. It's
that's a
like, yeah,
valid
I
Like
want
that's
to
a
keep my
valid
seat ahead of
point.
time.
That's
that's
kind
a
of
variable, and I want to mitigate as many variables as possible. So like if I know where I'm sitting, I know, okay, I only have to, I don't know, if you get stressed about what if you missed the seat and you had to come back, or what, like you go
Yeah.
too far, there's no more empty seats in the back, you got to backtrack, it's a whole ordeal,
Yeah, that's a
right?
I
point
what
mean,
I
that I
like
hadn't
about
considered.
oh,
I'll be
I,
back.
I got cut out. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we're
Hmm.
good. We're good. Go ahead
Okay.
again.
I was gonna say I fly pretty much exclusively Delta just because Minneapolis is a Delta hub and travel
Yeah,
from work and on for work we get to like pick the airline that we want to go out to and it also gives me free miles.
maybe.
Ooh, living that corporate life. But anyways, I kind of like it because I get to pick my seats and there's like it's not charged extra, it's included in the ticket, which I mean maybe they charge extra so you get that feature in quotes. But like
Well, there are
it'll
some seats on Delta. There's like priority seats where like
well that's what
certain
I was
aisle
gonna
seats
say.
and like those, which makes sense. Yeah,
But
like
those are like not first class, but they're like the next level up. They're called Comfort Plus or whatever. So like there's a whole block that's like, okay, here's the ones that are left, and if you're early enough, kind of like a movie theater, you get to pick, whatever. And if you're late and do a last second flight, you get fucking stuck with the middle seat. But uh and I like that too because when they board, they board back to front, so you're not. I mean, there's still chaos, like Dayton was saying.
There's always chaos.
Sometimes
Yeah.
like you get there first and you're in the aisle, and then you have to get up anyways. But it's not as bad, I think. Plus, like I don't know, I think the whole like priority boarding thing for the most part is such a fucking ruse. Like, oh, you paid extra to board first, so you get to be on the plane longer. Fuck
you just
that.
sit in those
Yeah,
those
Dude,
I'm
the
gonna
uncomfortable
get
thing
a
that
seats for
seat.
always
longer.
is comical to me every single fucking time at the airport is when you're waiting for your boarding number to get called, and the people are just fucking savages doing anything they can to get on the plane as
Like,
fast as
dude,
possible. And it's like, what are you? I think maybe they're afraid of like overhead space. They're
That
afraid of
is a
they're
thing.
afraid of overhead
That's
space.
true.
They don't want to check their bag because like that always fucking happens on a full flight. They run out of space and like somebody's got to check their bag and nobody wants to fucking do it.
well, the
Um,
last two flights that I've been on, they had to do that, but they just like put them on the side of like the walkway thing. They're just stand off to the side, like we
yeah, that's
just
the
put
usual. They
them
usually
back.
do a call beforehand, be like, hey, if anybody's gonna offer it right now, we'll do it right now.
Yeah, so it's
But yeah,
not
nobody.
that big
That's
of a
what it
deal.
is. But it's hilarious how much people are just like savages trying to get on the fucking airplane every
Yeah,
time.
I feel like the best way would be, I mean, and that's the way first class is, right? Or Comfort Plus or whatever it is, like you sit up at the front, so you get to get off early, but like they'll still let, I don't know. Why why even fucking bother? Like just wait
Most
till the last
most of
second.
the problems are due to greed. I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
There's companies being they if they can find someone to sell you, they're gonna do it, and it's
I mean,
make
if
like
they
one
can
little
nickel and dime you,
delineation.
they're going to. I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of why I like Delta. Like I know Spirit has a lot of cheap flights, but they charge you for fucking everything. Delta,
Fuck
you get
Spirit.
two bags and a carry-on.
and like if
Like
you're a solo
Southwest.
flyer, like if you only have a carry on, like yeah, you can get away with doing a Spirit probably fine. But if you're a family,
Yeah,
you got to be more tricky about it.
right.
And I think that's my
I don't-
gripe is the greed, okay? You guys know that I'm very mindful of like the companies and stuff like that I support. Like if they have terrible practices, I fucking hate them, okay? And I think that is a majority of the airlines out there. I think that they're
Yeah.
just it just piss me off so much.
The only
But
airlines I've heard like people like talk good about is Southwest and like Alaska. Used to be
Mhm.
Virgin, but I think Virgin moved into Alaska or something. I don't know.
I think it's one of those companies where they're like too big to fail, right? Or it's like they can be shitty because maybe they're the only company that flies into this place
Yeah,
from the place you're from. And
demand's
like
too high.
there's not a lot of new airlines coming out. There's no there's no new airline, right? Like it
Mhm.
Mhm.
it takes so much startup cost to start one that they can get away with that shit. And the only competition is other ones. And if they act shitty too, they can be shitty too, you
They
know?
can form a
What's funny though
cartel.
is they almost went under in the pandemic, but
Well, they
they
got all this fucking money and they didn't do shit about it, and I don't know.
is what it is.
Whole fucking thing.
Anyway, let's transition. Here's my transition. As we're talking about big vehicles, Dayton, what other big vehicles do you want to talk about?
Wow.
That's one of my better ones, Joseph. One
That
of my better
was very good.
Up
ones.
here.
All right, all right. Well, I want to talk about large vehicles that primarily operate in the water. And by primarily, I mean exclusively. Um, so, I thought of the question earlier. I forget. This may have been when I was on the plane and I was just fucking thinking. But
Fuming about the lady kicking your bag.
fuming about the lady kicking my bag. Fuming about the system. Fuck the system. Down with the system. Okay. Um, but do submarines have keys? And I'm talking about like ignition keys. Like, in order to get this thing to go move, do you need a key? Okay.
Well, let me start this off by saying a machine that complicated cannot just have a simple turn to
Just
start the
an
entire thing up.
it's just got a
So
starter ignition. Like, no.
so I
There has
will
to be like a
say.
plane where you like flip a bunch of switches and shit, and
Well, I
get
will
everything
say,
moving.
so this might help us deduce some things because I actually don't know the answer to this, even though I've been working with submarines for over 2 years now. So all these nuclear submarines, like once the reactor's going, it doesn't stop. So
Right.
it always has power. Okay, so it's not like actually turn it on. I guess in this case it would be like, does it have like a transmission key to like make it so that it's not just in like neutral?
And by key means something that can be taken off of the vehicle, and that way it cannot operate, is what you're
Right,
saying.
right, yes. So just like
I
something
don't think
something
so.
to validate that it's the right person.
I bet it's a code or like
Hmm.
I don't know, biometrics or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be
Just
anything you could remove from the vessel.
a series of steps of, things like you have certain order of buttons and switches, right?
Mm-hmm.
that
Maybe
like
it's like in video games, you need like at least three people. You have to press the one button at the same time.
Like Portal 2 co-op, just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with Gabe. I think a code is likely, or it's just so complicated. If you weren't taught or like trained how to run it, you wouldn't be able to. Which is
Right.
probably the case. Like, let's be
Right.
honest.
But
You
even
can't drive a
even if
Submarine.
you don't know how to operate it, I think that you could still do a lot of damage to it.
Well, that's why I feel like you need
well,
like a
yeah.
unique code that's like there's got to be some sort of logging system on these war
Hmm.
machines, right? So like
Mm.
if they see this code has been entered or this thumbprint has been entered, it was Dayton who started it and crashed it into the harbor or whatever it was,
Hmm.
like they got to have some way to have responsibility for it, you know. 'Cause you can't just
Yeah.
have some like guy who's been underwater for a month. He's like, I can't fucking take it anymore. And then he like has a mutiny and starts it up and goes up to the surface or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. Joseph, did we get an answer on your
Yeah,
probe?
so one of my friends from high school, he's actually finishing up his service, but he was on a nuclear sub. He's a nuclear engineer. So his answer, holy shit, he wrote me a book. Um he said there are keys, but because it's a nuclear reactor and not a car engine, it's not like an ignition. Um what's your
You said keys
credit?
multiple, huh? I wonder if, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
you need multiple
so
people.
I asked him like what do they because they have to dry dock them to like service them and stuff. So I asked him like
Yeah.
when you dry dock it, I mean, what do you do with the reactor basically? And he said it's still running. They do some testing. Keys are basically used to lock different components away and switches in specific positions so that people with ill intent don't try to go rogue and start up the reactor by themselves while fewer people are around. Uh,
Okay.
So there are keys. There
yeah,
are
but it's more of
physical
like a
keys.
lockout. It seems like it's more of like a lockout tagout type of thing
Yeah.
Right. Right.
where you need the right clearance to be able to unlock the mechanisms to be able to operate it.
Right.
Was what I'm getting from me
Yeah.
skimming through that.
And I'm this may be forcing my own hypothesis. It feels like those keys don't leave the submarine.
I could
Based on what
ask him. I don't know if
I
those are like the captain or whatever.
I don't think Johnny gets in the boat. It's like, ah, shit, I left the keys at home. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
I don't know. I
but to
feel
this
like
point, as
so
Dayton, what do you think is the biggest vehicle that has car keys? Like car, yeah, a
an
similar
I
thing
ignition.
would
like
I
that.
would bet I would bet those big mining dump trucks.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
like a big crane or something.
What about like a yacht? Like a
Oh
big
yeah,
ass yacht.
yachts
Ooh,
definitely have keys on them.
Exactly.
yeah,
Are they bigger than those big ass dump trucks though? Those big ass
Well, I
dumpies?
yeah.
guess
I mean,
it depends on
yachts can be
what you're
massive.
using. Are you basing it off of like length? Because if it's length, then yeah,
Well,
the
yeah.
boat's gonna beat it. But if it's in terms of mass, I don't know, dude. Because those mining trucks are like very
They're dense.
massive.
What about volume? I feel like the yacht's got a lot of volume.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
So it
I
yachts
takes up
guess
got
more
enough
well you
space.
kind of
volume.
have to because it's
Yeah,
a boat.
I feel like the yacht's the
So
biggest.
so then how like does a cruise liner how big of a yacht are we getting?
Yeah,
See,
Like
like a cruise ship. I feel like that also would have a key because those are diesel. Those run off of diesel.
that is
So
true.
mm,
that would actually have an ignition most likely. Whether it's like an actual ignition up on board or if it's like yeah these diesel generators are just running all the time. Uh, I don't
well,
know.
they have to because that must supply power to the entire ship, right?
True. Well, no, but on
And that's
shore you can get shore power though.
but is that worth it?
Yeah, I
I
mean
guess if they're docked for multiple days.
every single boat has shore power.
Do you think when they come into dock, they plug in the shore power and they turn off? They turn the
It's
key off for the
they probably
diesel,
do that. Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah.
And the captain has the key. I gotta watch Captain Phillips again because I feel like, they were able to take over a ship. Was there keys there? I don't remember.
Well,
Do we?
that's the I am the captain now one.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct. Where are we at on planes?
Planes.
I think planes don't have a key. Maybe like small
I don't think
single
they do
engines.
either. I don't think they do, and here's why. Because at least for commercial flights, it's different pilots every time, and to have them
Right.
do that
Well,
swap,
yeah.
it's just not. It's gonna get
Where
lost.
they put them in the sun visor.
Well,
Like
actually though,
cars.
what if I think there are keys, but not to the power? I think there are keys to the door to the cockpit.
Yeah,
I think it's
Right.
a
well,
simple
yeah.
deadbolt. I guess
Yeah, but to
What
when
if
you
what if they
maybe
get
that's probably
trapped in
key
there?
in
What if there's like a what if somebody like goes fucking crazy in there and then or what if they die? How are you gonna get that open? There has to be a key or something for it.
why
say
does it
one
need to
of
be
the,
locked in the first place?
The
I guess
cockpit?
somebody's trying to. Yeah, I guess it has to be.
they
Yeah,
Yeah,
lock
somebody's
the
trying to
dude.
get in
cockpit
there.
during
Yeah,
flight
Yeah,
dude, they got fucking crazies to deal with.
since
yeah,
September 1st or 11th,
yeah,
11th.
not
yeah,
1st, 2001.
yeah.
So I Googled it uh, to take away the fun.
God damn it, Gabe.
Small planes do have locks. So like propeller planes have locks on the doors, ignition keys to start the engine. But commercial jets, scarily enough, you just have to walk in. It says you can enter the cockpit door, which do not have locks. This is not for a 747. Start up the APU. I'm guessing that's the computer. A small
Hmm.
jet engine in the tail. Oh, that's to give you power, and then you start the main engines, which is just a few buttons. Be
Hmm.
very easy to steal if you knew the systems. That's what it says.
What year is that from?
Uh, I hope it's post 9/11. 3 months ago. Oh, 7 years and 3 months ago.
Okay,
Uh,
that's a little bit dated. They might have added things by then, but I mean
dude,
that
no.
aligns with what we were thinking
There's
as far
still
as you don't need a
747s
key.
now, you know?
Say their planes don't get updated as often as you think.
That's true.
No. What about
It's not
cruise
like
liners?
ours.
Can you Google cruise liners?
I guess I could.
So my military friend got back to me and say the keys do stay on the sub and get turned over every day to the next guy on duty.
Gotcha.
Because I texted him, who keeps the keys? He said if I told you that, you'd go to prison. Like, okay, that's valid. That's not really what
Who's
I
the
meant.
master of the keys?
How do I ask this question without seeming like I'm trying to steal a submarine?
What vehicles are we missing out on? Because like boats, we got, we said cruise liners. I mean, small boats don't have keys. It's just a pull motor, right? I mean,
Well, what do you
sometimes.
consider a small boat?
Like
Like
an
a
I'm
little,
thinking,
a small little
little
yeah,
outboard.
with an
outboard?
outboard motor, yeah.
Yeah, like fishing boats? Yeah,
Yeah,
like little V-hulls? Yeah, little
don't
pull
need
motors.
keys.
But like jet boat or jet suppose like ski boats and like that kind of stuff, those have keys.
I will
Little
say
ignition.
with
Yeah, just
outboards though, with outboards you can get it so then you can put a lock on it. So then you basically lift it out of the water and then you basically lock it in place.
Mm,
Well, they also usually have a kill switch like a jet ski does. So you
right.
can just take that out. I mean, someone else would have, you can fake that pretty easily, but that is another lockout thing you could do.
Hmm.
But yeah, you
Oh,
can
I found one Quora question, but I'm pretty sure the guy's bullshitting because he says
It's on Reddit.
Yeah. Quora. It says,
Off of
yes,
Quora.
there is one, and its size in proportion with the size of a ship to a car. It's one big some bitch. The worst part is the floaty thing they have attached to it to prevent it from sinking in case it gets dropped overboard is freaking huge. Takes up a ton of room on the bridge. When the ship is ready to leave, they have 3 or 4 able-bodied seamen grab the key and turn it from accessory to on and then to start. They have to hold it and start until the engine starts. Then they release the key and it returns to the on position. The captain gives the order. The helmsman shifts the ship from park to low.
from park
Once
to
they
low.
clear the harbor, he shifts it into drive. I
Dude,
don't
I
think that's
actually
the right
I
answer.
want to do the math.
Wish
I
that
want to
was
do the
true.
math. If we do the math of if we take a normal sized car and then we size up the key
Like the
to
proportion.
the size of a
What's the
cruise liner.
It
standard
would be
car?
so
Are you
big.
talking like
But,
a
like,
four-door
okay,
sedan?
The
Hold
floaty
on, hold
thing
on.
too, like oh my god.
What's the scale? Because like, do you set the dashboard to dashboard?
He said proportionate to
Well, yeah.
ship to a car or whatever.
I was
I would
saying,
go
like,
with length. Length.
You want to go length?
Yeah.
It'd be so
Give
big.
me the length of an average cruise ship and the length of an average car.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna
We're doing
hash
the
this
math.
out.
Let this bitch out.
We're not
Just need the
called the
length.
I can just
engineers
imagine,
without
those.
filters for no reason. Damn it.
All right, an average cruise ship is 1,000 feet long.
Okay.
The
Do they
car
have a key on them? You
12?
can give me
Average
a.
car is 14.7, so I'll round that up to 15 feet.
Okay, so 1,000 divided by 15. Does anybody know how long a key is?
It's probably only like 3
Average
inches.
length of
We'll go
a
with
key.
3 inches.
Yeah, because you can
Um,
that's a quarter foot. That'll be easy math.
Right.
You can just cross multiply
This key may be about 17 feet long.
I don't know. I don't think only four able-bodied seamen could handle that.
What's this key made out of? How heavy is it? You
The
know?
part that killed me was that they have to hold it until it starts.
And just like cranking it. Oh shit, we flooded it.
My God.
Oh man, that's fantastic. That dude's a fucking hero.
Yeah.
Can
Oh my God.
can you look up if mining dump trucks have keys? Because actually,
Yes, those do.
Sean and I talked about this, and he said that all Caterpillar
Yeah.
equipment has the same key,
That I believe.
Like it's universal.
universal key. And what he was saying was that something like if you're on a job site and you just give the key to one person, then they're like, oh, I'm gonna operate the excavator, and it's like, oh, now I need to go use the dozer. Oh, now I need to go use the freaking grader or whatever, and like.
That makes sense. Yeah. It'd be too much hassle to have a
Yeah.
key for everything.
I guess that at that point you just have to be certified or trained on all equipment on the site then. Because that would be
Right.
the big thing is
Right.
like someone who's not certified on a certain piece of equipment.
Because if they had a specific key for every single one, people get lazy and start just leaving it in the
Oh yeah.
They already do
subvisor. I mean, yeah, also that. But if you only have 3 machines on site, then you only probably need 1 key, unless you have for certain you have to operate 2 or more at once. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
you can minimize the amount of keys to increase safety, I guess.
They do have keys. They're $4 online. So
Good to know.
not that expensive.
What you're telling me is I can buy this key online and then break into a job site and steal a giant crane.
You
See,
100% could.
What is this podcast?
You're telling me
Do you think
that I
that-
can get that for $4. The entire system
You
for
can get
$4.
an excavator ignition key for $3. It's
Jesus
called
fucking-
heavyequipmentkeys.com. It's a website.
Yo, I think I might have found what I'm doing this weekend.
Does the door not have a key to get into the cockpit?
Dude, you got a rock. That's the only door you need. You make that a window.
You're not wrong, Gabe. You're not wrong. Joseph, I remember you saying something when you rented the U-Haul to move, that like all U-Hauls might like probably have the same key or something like that.
Yeah,
Off that.
well, I
'Cause
think
you
there's
locked the keys in
yeah, because I locked the
car.
keys in, which
Yeah.
I was reading on the FAQ after the fact because Alyssa needed a U-Haul when she moved a couple months ago. I was reading about it, and like that's a very common thing. And they're like, yeah, don't worry about it. But I think there's a master key rather than
right. A master key. Yeah.
they're universal.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
that's because like they're just like Ford trucks, right?
Yeah, they are.
Or maybe they're GMC.
No,
I don't
at
know.
least the one
They're
that I
just-
used was Ford.
Yeah, like they just buy like it's just a cabin frame and then they put their box on it, or sometimes maybe Ford puts the box, whoever. And so like they just like paint it basically. So it's not like U-Haul makes this equipment. So I would guess they have a master made.
Probably.
I was actually this was totally related to this topic. The other day, I was like just coming to my apartment, I have to unlock the deadbolt and then come in. And it's like keys have been around for a long ass time. Like that technology. And I can see it staying around for a long ass time. You know?
Yeah. So, do you
I
guys
mean-
watch The Lockpicking Lawyer on YouTube?
I
Every
cannot
once in a
stand
while,
him.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Why
When
not?
Cooper is over.
I can't yeah, Cooper watches him. I can't stand his voice.
Really? Huh.
Also, the first ones I ever watched were always his April Fool's ones, and the jokes get
Oh.
old so fast.
Yeah.
Like the first halfway, not even halfway through the first video. It's like, okay, I
Yeah.
get it. They're
But
all
I mean,
sex jokes.
it
But
does like show you the like how lock technology has changed, and
mhm.
sometimes not for the better. Like all the electronic
Oh.
locks, he can pretty much just like if you apply tension to it and just beat it with a hammer, it'll open up.
Yeah.
Like they're incredibly low security.
Even like modern like master locks are shit.
Well,
Like,
master locks are understood to be a shit brand.
yeah. But it's just hilarious to me that like a lock made in 2020 can be broken with like one thin piece of metal. Just like, are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
Well, actually, I have to do that on my motorcycle because the previous owner left a master lock on there for like a helmet or something.
Hmm.
So I need to attempt to shim it open. So I'm gonna try out some skills that I learned and see
I
if
mean, you
I
could
can get
also
it.
get some bolt cutters.
I could, except a Pepsi can costs a whole lot less than bolt cutters do.
Ugh.
Or
You
in
could
my
like
case, a can of
You could probably just
organized
drive
Play
it
Date.
to Ace. You might drive it to an auto parts shop and be like, "Hey, somebody have any bolt cutters in the back?" And like, yeah, just do it for you
or
immediately.
just buy bolt cutters and then use them and return them. Use them once. Be like, oh, these didn't work.
Well, isn't it Auto Value or one of those auto parts stores you can like borrow tools for free?
Yeah, when my
Hmm.
car stalled out, when I had the dead battery, they let me borrow tools for free.
That's like a yeah, I forget what auto parts store it is, but that's like a thing that they do.
You could
Yeah.
also go to like a Planet Fitness because any gym has bolt cutters because they have to, people leave their
Hmm.
shit there.
I think I would have a lot more fun trying to shim it open myself, though.
That's true.
It's fair.
Or you could drive out to Wyoming because we know our buddy Tristan always carries bolt cutters
Oh my
with
God.
him because
How many
locks
different
are.
ways can Date get bolt cutters? That's what we need to figure out right now.
Yeah, I remember him saying distinctly, he's like, they think they own nature, man.
Yeah, he's got some bolt cutters in the back.
Like,
I
doesn't he
just
like just
pop
go
them.
into yeah, doesn't he just go into like he trespasses all the time. He goes into
Well,
private property.
yeah, I don't know what he does now, but he definitely did then.
I wouldn't be surprised if he still does.
God damn.
What a
All right,
guy.
well, any final words on keys or giant keys possibly?
HeavyEquipmentKeys.com.
All
This
right.
podcast has been sponsored.
Wink wink. You know what you need to do with that. Just kidding. I have no idea what you do with that.
We're gonna get this episode's gonna get censored by big construction. That's what it is.
We found out the secrets. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to this weird episode of the podcast. As always, make sure you find our show on Mondays on YouTube and podcast services. Follow us on Instagram at ewfpodcast, and please follow us on Twitch at ewf_podcast. But until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.